What is going on, YouTube? This is Jim, and the moment of truth is here. We finally have our hands on Halo Infinite. This video will serve as the first of many on this channel dedicated to this amazing game. In case you couldn't tell, played the beta, and I loved it. There were a lot of issues with it. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sugarcoat it and say that everything was flawless, but you know what? I wouldn't really expect it to be. This game has been in development for a long time. It was very clear in the last year or so there was a significant overhaul to a lot of the game. The systems, the graphics, the gameplay, everything underwent a pretty massive overhaul. And despite all that, I feel like it's actually a really good game. I'm not going to harp too much on the technical things. The graphics are all over the place. They're jittery. There's not very good frame pacing. The frame rate seems off. It's not really utilizing my GPU at all. It seems to be mostly CPU based. There's a lot of weird network trafficking going on in the background, which makes it almost impossible to stream. I actually had to record this on my hard drive as opposed to streaming it and pulling it off of Twitch. There's some weird aliasing issues. It seems like a lot of the options don't do a whole lot. But you know what? I don't care about any of that. And I don't think anybody should right now. Right now, the idea of this is to say, hey, we have produced a product. What do you think? Technically, what do you think just from a gameplay perspective? And is it fun? And the answer is yes. It's a ton of fun. A ton of fun. They have basically taken the core idea of what Halo is. Phenomenal run and gun team multiplayer gameplay. And they have managed to modernize it. And that's all we ever wanted. The game speaks for itself. There are still those of us, myself included, who still play Halo Master Chief Collection, who still enjoy the original Halo Combat Evolved multiplayer, who still play Halo 3 Tournament, who still play Halo Reach. We love the gameplay. It works. It's a formula that's basic, but it's a formula that hasn't changed. We do not need to redesign the wheel. They've taken that gameplay and they've put a good wrap around it. And honestly, that's all they had to do. And it's great. One of the things that a lot of people criticized about Halo 5 Guardians was all of the Spartan abilities. The Spartan Ground Pound, the Spartan Charge, the Spartan Boost. Those have all been removed. Sprint is only, I want to say it's like 10% of your normal movement speed. It's not that much. It's a little bit, but it's not much. I don't think it needs to be. They've added more weapons, more grenades, more power-ups, more different ways to get engaged in the map, more risk-reward on where these items are. It forces you to play as a team. It forces you to work as a team, and I love that. Everything about it I love. Now, playing against these bots, gotta admit, they're not the best, but they weren't meant to be. Obviously, you'll be playing against other humans. So there are a lot of places the bots just flat out don't go right now on the map. Like, they weren't programmed to go get the gravity hammer. They weren't programmed to get or use a grappling hook. So there's a lot of stuff that's a freebie for players to try. And honestly, that's great. Because the truth is, these are things you want to feel. They all work well, and they're all in good places where if you were playing a real match, those would be hot spots for people to fight over, and that is what is going to bring the engagement back to, back to its core. Their levels, the levels that I've played, there's 3 of them that are currently available. They're dense, they're tall, there's a lot of great places to clamber. There's a lot of great light sight lines. If you want to play as a sniper and really go to town, I feel like you'll be successful. But if you're somebody like me who prefers the standard AR, just run and gun, I think you're going to find a lot of good cover, and you're going to find a lot of good success there too, which is great. So I think the map design has really caters to every play style, and just around every corner there's some sort of weapon or upgrade if you're not happy with the standard weaponry that you get, which honestly I am. Like I said, I'm an AR guy, so that's great for me. Just give me the AR and let me go to town. In terms of controls, this game feels phenomenal. It feels exactly what I want. There's not a lot of aim assists, which is great. There's not a lot of the magic bullet wrapping, which is great. You are rewarded for playing well. You are punished for playing poorly. Obviously, with the bots, I get it, the punishment's a little lighter, but you would not be able to do what I'm doing in a regular multiplayer match. You would be punished for this. But against bots, it's okay. You know, it's fine. And just the combat and the flow of the game is really there. Sound design is phenomenal too. That's another thing that I was really curious about. I did a really big blog a couple months ago about the new sound engine that they were using with this kind of prioritized sound, and it was kind of this new sound tech that they had, and it sounded great. There's a lot more chatter in this game. Obviously, you could turn that off. I'll get the options in just a second. There's a lot of chatter in this game. Your AI now is a custom AI, and there's different AIs you can select from that have different personality types and say different things. Your teammates will communicate to you automatically, like, oh, there's an enemy in control room, or going for the power weapon, or something like that. And obviously, you have the enemy teammates as well, screaming in agony when they get destroyed. They're also shouting things out, and you can hear some of this. And despite all of the sound going on top of the gunfire, both from you and from everybody else on the map, it sounds great and it feels great. I never felt like I didn't know where anybody was. I never felt like I was aimlessly wandering around if I didn't want to get in the action. If I wanted to, I knew where it was, and I knew where to fight. I knew which targets to prioritize, and I think that's the best you could hope for in a game like this. Speaking of options, the options were great. There are so many options in this game. It's not just red versus blue anymore. It could be yellow versus purple, or green versus lighter green. You get to choose. The undertone of your Spartan, like if you look at my model, it is not a red Spartan. I have different coloring markings on me. You can see I have orange on my left hand. I got a robotic right hand. They just put the color of your choice as like a sheen over your character. So customization is going to be through the roof. I know weapon skins and different types of helmets and armors and all that stuff is coming. And I love that. It was very simple for them to do this, and they did it really well in the previous Halo games, and it's nice to see they've taken it to the next level. And it now gives you and your Spartan so much more identity. The only way to really enjoy your previous build was to play free-for-all or infection, which a lot of people did because they just wanted to see the cool armor that they unlocked. You'd get this really cool visor or this really cool armor piece, and you would never be able to see it other than the loading screens because you never got to play in that mode, and now it'll always be there. If you want to have a really cool robotic left or right hand, you're going to see it. If you want to have a really cool visor, or do you want to have a really cool color sheen or palette, you're going to be able to do that. So, an absolute home run on this game. I know they'll get the technical issues sorted out. I know this is going to run great on PC when it's all said and done. I mean, I was playing on an ultra wide earlier today, and it ran just fine. It could have run better, but it ran okay. I don't know how much it's working really well right now on the consoles, but I gotta suspect that this is their flagship game. They're gonna figure it out. They're gonna make this great. So huge endorsement for me on this game. I will admit I was very worried about the performance of this game, and very worried about just what to expect from 343. And I've got to say, they've listened. They've taken the best of other games and they've incorporated them into Halo. And that's the best we could hope for. So that wraps up this video. Just a first look at Halo Infinite. This is not one to sleep on, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please take care of yourselves. And until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.